How's it going, YouTube? JamieTheKid00 here, coming to you guys with a new renamed segment called Side Deck Techs. This is going to be taking over for the Side Deck Sensibilities segments that I was doing on Mondays ages ago, but I didn't really have the time for. I'm going to be breaking up my schedules. Instead of actually having like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm just going to be producing these segments when I can. So this is going to be called Side Deck Techs. Now the first card we're going to talk about for techs in the current meta in your side deck that you probably should be running or could run is Fairy Wind. Fairy Wind is a fairly old card from Ancient Prophecy with an effect that reads: destroy all other face-up, spell, and trap cards on the field. Both players take damage equal to the total number of cards destroyed by this effect times 300. So its effect may seem a bit lackluster. That's of course why we're not going to be playing it in the main deck. The reason why we would play this card is to shut down two decks that are going to be becoming incredibly popular in the meta to come after the March ban list, because it's fairly certain that neither of them are going to get touched. Those decks we're talking about are Spellbooks and Fire Fist. These two archetypes, especially Fire Fist, are seeing a lot of hype at the moment. Fairy Wind basically stops them dead in their tracks. It's not like the Gozen match to them, it is not literally the anti to them, but these two cards can be really inventive, and I'm going to show you how those can be inventive. So let's take a look at Spellbook Tower. Now, for a lot of people, Spellbook Tower is a nightmare to deal with, because it's going to keep plussing the opponent when it's out, they're going to keep drawing an extra card per turn, and if you MST it, they're going to get a free monster out, and if they're playing the Reaper variant, they're probably going to get like a Reaper or something huge out of their deck, which you do not want. What Fairy Wind does, Fairy Wind is basically the Soul Taker of spell traps. Because it says destroy all face-up spell trap cards on the field, and then it still has another effect of both players take damage equal to the number destroyed, the destruction isn't the last thing to happen. Now, correct me if my ruling is incorrect, because its wording is not identical to Soul Taker, because I believe with Soul Taker it says, and then. This has a secondary effect that will still resolve on that section of the chain after, say, Tower has been destroyed, or Spellbook Starhall. That will then cause this to miss timing, because its destruction is not the last thing to have happened, and apparently it will be destroyed. So, that's the way I would interpret it as being ruled. Now, it's good in that facility, it's not that good against spellbooks. Where it really comes into its own is against the spells and trap cards employed by Fire Fist. So, those traps are Fire Formation Tenken, Tensen, Tensu, and Tenki. Now, I'm sure you're all familiar with Tenki especially, because Tenki is that one card which is a continuous spell, and when they drop it, it's like a rotor for Beast Warriors. Now, Fairy Wind is interesting in a few facets for this deck. Fairy Wind can be used reactively in multiple ways against Fire Fist. You can use Fairy Wind when they activate their Tenki to destroy the Tenki, burn both players for 300, and most importantly, if you activate it in chain to the activation of Tenki, the Tenki won't be on board, it is a continuous spell, and it will not be able to resolve its search effect. This is like MSTing, this is what it would be like if MST negates, because this isn't continuous. The other thing it disrupts is the fact that if your opponent activates, say, Tenken in response to you trying to destroy one of their cards with Soul Taker or something like that, you can then Fairy Wind it in a response to stop them getting the access. I mean, MST does this job anyway, but what the Fairy Wind will do is, providing you're not playing a deck which this disrupts, Fairy Wind will destroy this card, stopping it from doing its job, or this card, stopping it from doing its job if your opponent doesn't activate it in the damage step. And it will also wipe everything else off their board. So if you think they're going to go into, say, a Tiger King play and try and Tiger King 3 guys off, they go Tiger King, they've got 3 cards, you can Fairy Wind before they would activate their Tiger King to stop them getting their plus. Or you could Fairy Wind before they Dragon, or of course Fairy Wind before they Bear. Because if you've got a big monster out and then suddenly they go Tenki, Search Bear, Summon Bear, you know what they're going to try and do. You know they're going to try and kill your monster using Bear's effect. So the Fairy Wind will take all the targets off the board, not just the one. So it's almost like a trap card Heavy Storm versus that deck, and it puts in so much work. And as I said before, it is more generic because it has the dual purpose of dealing with some of the spell traps played by spellbooks. That's literally all the ideas I've come up with for this card. I know it hurts a few other decks, but I felt that because Spellbooks and Fire Fist are going to be quite big in the up-and-coming meta, I felt this would be a good card to start this segment off with. I think because I'm really crap at ideas, if you guys want to see another interesting tech, if you've got something you want me to talk about, investigate, see if it's good, see if it's bad, please feel free to comment those cards in the description below. Let me know what you think is going to be big in the next perspective format, with probably wind-ups and probably Rabbit out of the way. But otherwise, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this segment. I hope you enjoyed the change. Give me some feedback if you can. And I think we should be seeing some Fairy Winds sided in the format to come. Either way, this has been Jamie the Kid 00. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.